Welcome to another episode of Sawdust Nation Podcast with your hosts today. We have Gears and Fire, Tim.
Hello.
Myself, North Country Woodworking, Josh. And Nat flew away on a metal bird down to Texas to do some more training. So we won't be seeing him this week or next week, I think. And then he'll be back once he gets done with that. So this is our monthly live where we like to give away free stuff, because this podcast is about community and giving back and talking woodworking and everything in between. So, Tim, do you want to go ahead and mention what we're giving away this podcast?
Well, we have some fantastic prizes from Starbond. I personally have never used Starbond. Not
Really?
to say it's like I've always been using epoxy. Like, I remember the first time that I tried epoxy, it was like with a very generic epoxy, like mixed the two parts together type kit.
Yeah.
But like, and it wasn't to stick two things together. It was to actually fill like a wood grain type thing on a board. And I don't know, it just did not work out the way I wanted it to. Like, just, it never got the right, like, hardness, consistency. But hey, that's what happens when you use bargain basement epoxy. What can I say? You gotta start somewhere, right? So
it works if it works.
Like you're like an aficionado of Starbond.
I wouldn't say or go that far, but I have used it quite a bit. I don't know. I forget how I got into using it. It was probably advertisement and someone suggested it. And I've used it over the years on different projects, experimented with different ways of using it, and it's never really let me down. Unfortunately, the only problem I have is I go through it pretty fast when I do have it, because I use it that often. You can use epoxy, absolutely, but for small touch-ups, their glue is, I love the brown and the black. I use those probably the most. And you know, even to fix little stuff, their medium thick clear is pretty good too.
Okay.
But so with that, we will be giving away a package of Starbond glue, and you have your choice between either the medium or the thin, the medium, and the thick clear, or you'll get an accelerator. Or you can choose from the package with accelerator, the medium black, and the medium brown. I would choose the second one because that's what I use the most. But whatever you're using in your shop, whatever you could use in your shop, you get to choose if you win. So bear with us. We're going to go start the episode, and we'll get to the giveaway at a random point in time. Feel free to chime in on the chat as we go along, and we'll answer your questions or read out your comments. But with that, I can't hear you, Tim. That sounded funny based on that look. So he's going to work on his microphone, and now it's back.
Hello.
What was that?
Okay.
There's that sexy voice.
Hello, Jordan. Yeah, so like I said, I've never used Starbond. To me, it feels like somewhere or something in between super glue and epoxy. So is it meant to just fill your little cracks, or is it meant to be an adhesive?
It can fill your little cracks, your big cracks. It can fill your medium cracks. It all depends on what kind of crack you're trying to fill.
With a little color, too,
little holes,
what it sounds
big,
like.
Yeah, big holes, small holes, whatever you want to fill. And then on top of that, like it works great for, you know, the adhesive side of things too, where CA glue steps in. Okay. I've used it where I had a chip out, found the chip, put it back, used the CA glue, you know, use the accelerator, you know, clean it up with a sander. You can't even tell it's there. I've used it for like if I did a black epoxy, little air holes, you can go back and use that, and it matches perfectly. I've used it in every which way I think of imaginable. I even mixed it with some powder, pigment. That's what I'm looking for. Pigment. Oh, the color different colors, okay, and tried it with that. Careful with the mixture though, because if you don't do it right, it does smoke and kind of get a little hot.
I think Jeremy's getting a little excited over there. Just calm down, buddy. So like I said, to me, it sounds like I don't want to screw around with epoxy, but I have this tiny little crack to fill that Starbond seems to be like the thing to use. Now, what surprises me, I didn't know that you could like mix pigments in there too, but I guess it makes sense, right? I mean, it's just another liquid waiting to turn solid, so why not?
Exactly. Anita brings up a great point. People use it to finish pens and stuff like that when they turn.
As
It
a
leaves a really
finish.
great finish. Yep. Protect the finish. And you can
Interesting.
build up on it too. So you do one layer, it dries pretty, instantaneously. And then you do another layer. I haven't physically done it myself, but I've definitely watched enough videos of people doing it. And I know of people like Anita that does.
So, okay. Now, you say like it dries, or I should say cures pretty quickly. Like how big of a hole can I fill with that stuff? Obviously, I'm not looking at like a giant knot, right? I'm not going to just fill with Starbond. But like, I mean, at what point does it just ridiculous? Or at what point
Well,
should I go to epoxy, right?
that's all, preference, right? I mean, you could do anything once. Um,
You say
you can.
that.
I have definitely tried to fill too large of a hole with my CA glue, and basically the top layers they dried and sealed pretty good, but
Okay.
you can see underneath it that it wasn't completely dry. Um, I would say anything above $50, I would try to go for an epoxy fix.
Yeah.
But there are people out there that have done, CA glue with that big of a hole.
But I mean, like it's mixing up in even like a little one pump worth of epoxy is a giant pain in the butt. And usually,
Yeah.
like if I mix up only one pump, I'm not even using up the entire bit. Like I always have leftover. So yeah, Starbond seems the way to go for that. I have got to try that stuff out. Is that stuff
Oh
expensive?
yeah. It is a little pricey, but it's quality stuff. I have used, dollar store, Lowe's, different CA glue, and it's just not the same. You can get away with using that stuff, and it'll work probably fine for your applications. But when you actually, it's one of those things where if you try something that's really high quality, you could tell the difference. Um, and this is my personal take. I really enjoy it. It is pricey. I don't buy it often. I buy it when I know I'm going to use it. Um, and I buy a lot of it when I do because once I get using it, it seems like I find a reason to use it for every project. Jigs, it's great for doing jigs in the workshop when you're trying to line things and you need a fast glue before you pin nail. That works. When you hang up a tool or trying to do a custom hang up for like a miter gauge or something like that, and you're trying to measure it, you can use that to keep it in place while, you'll grab your pin nailer or screw gun, whatever.
Sure.
There's a bunch of different uses for it. It
Now you
doesn't
say
have to
like
be solely.
or like a
Go ahead.
tack up, like you were talking about. Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm a hot glue guy. Like I bought myself a nice, decent industrial hot glue gun. And what I like about hot glue is like it's almost like welding, but it's like welding that you can cut and like undo. So like if I have two things put together, like a lap joint, I just stitch it in there, and then whatever it is holding whatever it is down just long enough. Then when I'm done with it, I could just cut the hot glue.
That works too. I mean, hot glue does work, but it's a little bit thicker. So, like, if you're using hot glue versus, say, the thin CA glue,
Sure.
there's not going to be any kind of difference in there. I don't use hot glue very often. If I use it, it's usually in a shadow box somewhere when
Okay.
I'm actually decorating the interior, if you will. But I mean, I don't know. CA glue has been a foundation of something I use within the shop since basically I found a use for it.
Okay.
And there's 1,001 different uses. And even if it's not using it for the workshop, I can use it for other stuff around the house or, when I'm trying to fix something else.
Yeah, mine and Brad put a good point too. Like, there's always blue tape
Oh,
too,
yeah.
but I don't know, man. I'm so partial to my hot glue gun just because, like I said, I know that I can cut it, separate it, and then like easily scrape off the hot glue. Maybe I just need to broaden my horizons and try out Starbond and stop being such a stubborn
I,
bastard.
I believe what he's getting at is like putting the blue tape down both sides.
Yeah,
Kind
I've
of
used that
surface.
trick
Okay.
before. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you've done that with hot glue and it worked pretty well.
No,
It
not,
held.
I'm saying like with that, like I'll just use whatever CA glue I have lying around.
Okay.
It's like Zappa Gap or something like that. But yeah, that stuff works. It works wonders. Like the blue tape and Zappa Gap, that's another go-to. But it seems like for the most part, you know, the hot glue is my hammer and everything else is a nail. So
Yeah, that can happen in a wood shop depending on the day. But I don't know. Go ahead.
I say it ain't dumb if it works.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it comes into play here. So, I mean, if you have a UCA glue in the workshop, give it a go. You'd be surprised. Especially, like I said, jigs. I heavily use CA glue for jigs. Helps me align things and put them in place. I got the cat in the background. Update on her a little bit later. But long story short, hopefully someone out there wins this package and either is already enjoying the Starbond product or they get introduced and they get hooked.
Win the package. So. Fill your cracks. That's why we're here. It's good for you. Put hair in your I didn't even know you had a cat.
Yeah. That AJ and I have had a cat third podcast essentially. So anyway, what's going on in your shop? How's your week? Anything coming up?
Other than my kid throwing the first pitch for a local baseball game, not a lot going on in the family way. They're in the last week of school, and then they're just going to be home all summer. And we've already set the rule of like no screens before 7 p.m. So we're going to kick them outside. They're going to be filthy and feral, but happy.
There you go.
That's the goal.
As it's meant to be.
But I mean, like as far as like shop side, I don't know if you saw my stories. I am working real hard on getting this thing flat. It's pretty darn close. Once it's like within like 0.01, I don't know if you can kind of see my setup here, but I got.
Now I can.
Oh yeah, I got Post-its everywhere. I got shims where they need to be. I'm pretty pleased with myself as far as like how I think well this is going. I oversized the holes on the gantry, if you remember that. So like I was able to get a lot more adjustment out of it, which is proved to be a good idea. So I almost broke my arm, pat myself on the back, but hey, if it works, it works. So once this guy is all flat, then I'm going to start the very long hole pattern for all the T-nuts and stuff like that. But in a previous story, I don't know if you saw the hole pattern underneath for the or I should say the baseboard. So wherever there's going to be a hole for a threaded insert, there's a hole underneath it to allow all the sawdust to go all the way through. And that tool pattern took about 6 hours. It was ridiculous. But
Ooh.
that's one tool pattern that I won't have to do again unless somehow the CNC starts on fire and I need a new baseboard. My baseboard system is going to be hopefully functioning as intended for a very long time. What's nice about this too, and again, I'm rather proud of myself, is like the screws where you mount the baseboard to the frame of the CNC.
Yeah.
I had to lay all that out. So like I was super accurate, using squares and stuff like that, really laying it out. And I was very, very, very close. I was very pleased with myself. Because that's not something I ever want to do again for a very long time. But everything lined up. Once that was all done though, I did use the CNC to like locate like where the hold down holes for the spoil board were going to be, but then everything else just falls into place a lot easier when you are able to use the CNC, because that's what they're for.
You put a lot of thought and work into this, man. It's going to pay off dividends.
I really hope so, because I mean, before I did this over the past 3 years, I got it pretty darn close. But in the end, I think my lack of fine tuning was starting to really bite me in the butt, because it wasn't ever really trimmed right. And I just had a bunch of scalps and like whatever I was doing. So that caused me to, or I should say that forced me to do a lot of excessive standing. So, but thanks to our sponsor, PWN CNC. I was able to buy a very nice trimming tool. Normally they sell this for $100, but I got it on Yellow Friday for $80. And I've never used one of these before, but I'm pretty confident I know what I got to do. So I'm really excited to get this going after that's all flat. Yeah, I don't know. Have you used these guys before? Well, look at that.
Well, I've trimmed before. So I have not done it personally on my machine, but I've helped other people do it.
Okay.
With the help of a YouTube video and 3 woodworkers, we got it knocked out.
Exactly. I mean, how hard can it be, right?
It's really not that hard. It was actually incredibly easy. And when I did it, I realized that I probably should do it more often on my own. But it is what it is. I'll get to it eventually.
Right on. But, like I said, I mean, in the meantime, you just got to sand a little bit more. That's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt, we're going to be reaching out to you too, buddy, because like I said, I have a pretty good idea on how to do this, but I think the biggest thing is making sure that I got the router clamped down as securely as possible so it can't move around too much when I'm trying to get this thing set.
I do believe Matt and yourself share very similar thinking styles, so you guys will get it down to like 0.000001.
Hey, and, we have tighter tolerances than that, sir. Thank you. Come on.
I'm sorry.
Jeez. Did you hear this guy, man? So, I don't know. But even like I got a bit of advice from Frank from Silent Mars as far as like, like getting what holds the spindle like true is like just like sticking tin foil in back of the bracket that holds it down. In other words, if I can't move the gantry, I'm just going to move the plate and like kind of turn it around that way. But,
okay.
Yeah, like as far as like getting it all flat, like the my dial indicator that I have is actually, and my wife reminded me of this. So back when I got my auto technician degree, I had to buy like a bunch of tools and stuff like that. So that was one of the tools. But like why she reminded me was I had purchased those tools the day before we got married. So, but hey, I got it all 60% off. It was a big bill, but I mean, I got a lot of tools for 60% off. So, and dial indicator was one of them. But yeah, so like like I said, I'm looking to get this thing dialed in as soon as possible because Ed, who I saw was in, he's watching currently, is waiting patiently for his cribbage board that I had to put the pause on because this thing was so out of tune that like if I would have faced it like I wanted it to, it would have been really scalped and it would have looked really bad. So nice. Like I said, I want to get this thing done and I want to get it done right and I want to get it done fast because I got 2 other projects in the queue. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I mean, huge thank you to PWN CNC for having like a really cool sale so I could get a very much needed tool.
That's pretty cool, man. I'm glad that you're getting to the end of that. When is it going to be up and running to its full extent?
Well, I was going to work on it tonight, and then I remember I had a podcast with you jokers. So I think tomorrow when I get home from work, I'm going to finish up the flattening, which I don't have much left to do. And then, like I said, I'm going to trim it, and then I can probably do my skin cut on the baseboard, run that tool path. So I'm hoping by this Friday, I think I can start back on the project train, which is going to make me feel a lot better on the inside. Because I've been staring at this thing and swearing at it, like, why is this taking so long? But it is, yeah. And you got to find some cribbage people, and they could teach you properly. It really is a fun game. Fun. I enjoy it.
It is.
It's kind of a staple in the upper Midwest, that's for sure.
I know that during COVID, a lot of people got into it pretty heavily, too. You know, all that time indoors with family and friends, again, teaching each other. So,
yeah, I always build like 3-track cribbage boards, which I guess apparently is like the common. Like this is a 3-track,
Yeah.
But like I've seen some 2 tracks and some 4 tracks. Some of them are what do you call it? Like where it's so normally this is like 120 hole, and some of them do
Yep.
like 60 hole, where they just like go around twice or something like that.
I guess you could do that. Yeah.
But there's, like I said,
No.
there's a million ways to skin that cat. So I don't know. It's been real interesting, like trying to perfect the cribbage mousetrap, so to speak.
Well, I mean, you definitely got that down, and then you brought the CNC down. So you made a lot of progress this year doing stuff in the shop. It's just, sometimes good things take time. So once you get it all up and running, I'm pretty sure you'll be knocking those out in no time. And, you know, who knows what the next project is. I know there's a couple projects on the horizon that you've talked about, but be interested to see if those get started this year or if that's going to be a little bit later on.
Yeah, I mean, I have a tavern sign coming up. I have 2 D&D dice boxes coming up. The nonstop cribbage boards. I don't know. There's a million things, and like I'm just really excited to get Betty back up and running.
Awesome, man. That's good to hear. I can't wait to hear her going again and see what the first project is going to be. Ed's project, right? Or are you going to run the test?
I gotta finish Ed's project. That is first and foremost. Ed, you're my motivation, buddy.
But that's pretty cool, man. I'm glad that's
so what's going on in your shop, buddy?
I was in the shop. I knocked out the Navy shadow box and sent that out. I overnighted it through UPS on Shippo. No, is it Shippo? I can't think of what it's called, but not Power Ship. Shippo. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Shippo.
Shippo.
Keep saying it. Yeah. So anyway, long story short, it actually wasn't that much, to be completely honest with you. It wasn't going far. That might have been partly the reason. But it was, I packaged it myself. I got the insurance and everything else. And it arrived the next day at 8:30 in the morning. It got there plenty of time. I kind of sat in it too long.
Intact, undamaged.
Well, to be honest, I believe so. I asked, and they said they'd get back to me. But I know the event was a bunch of people flying in this last Friday, and then it was going to be the ceremony. It was going to be happen pretty fast, and everyone flies out. So I've kind of given the weekend and today to basically get back, rest up before I ask again. I'm assuming if it wasn't, we would have had a conversation by now. But I packed it pretty good. I used a TV box essentially,
nice,
and the packing in there, and I have no doubt it arrived okay. So my biggest worry was anything dropping out from the pegboard. Essentially, that was my concern. But I haven't been reached out by them, so we'll see how that plays out. I was going to reach out and see how it was. If they don't hear back, then I'm going to call it good. She's pretty good about getting back to me, so we'll see.
Okay.
I did get some commissions for August through Military Working Dogs. I'll be doing 3 projects. They were ordering them all at the same time and basically paying for them all at the same time. So I'll have, until, August to knock those out. There could be plaques. One's going to be acrylic, wood backer. Another one's going to be a stacked laser project. And then one is a liquor box, ammo box style. I'll be creating and sending back to them. So that's those projects I've done before. One of the projects I haven't, but it's a very well-known brand that people do all the time. I'm just going to avoid saying the name on here. Might start with H and with, two. Yeah, you can probably figure it out. Anyway, long story short, I got those coming up. I have to do the clock still. I'm working on that. Doing some swatches with epoxy so they can kind of choose the style they want. And trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to handle the box. But besides that, I got the boat in the water. We went fishing. We caught some catfish this last weekend.
Nice.
Doing some maintenance on that. Got myself a pressure washer. Got to pressure wash the boat and some other stuff I've been meaning to. So
how much was that pressure washer? I'm in the market for a pressure washer.
Well, I found mine on Facebook Marketplace, my favorite place to shop. And I have to say, Heather is the one that found it. because she has some more like pages, I think they're called, than I do. And she found it for $80, and it's a Sun Joe pressure washer, like 2800 psi, whatever. It
Gets
works.
the crap
It's
off
just
your
water.
walls.
Yeah, pretty much. So I got that. I got to use that today. Works perfectly fine. Added some accessories to the boat. Just kind of doing some fun stuff as well as doing the shop stuff. The shop is clean. I get in there and I can actually do stuff in there now. Got it pretty tidied up. Finally got the boxes for the mallets in. They were supposed to be in this last Friday, and they just came in today, so I could start working on shipping those out. I know some people will be excited about that. So get those out. And that kind of reminds me, on these giveaways, if we're making something or we have a physical product in hand, try to be patient, because sometimes it's hard to get those things out. If we like the package tonight, we're ordering from the website, inserting your address, and it's a push of a button, and it will be there within the delivery time. So it is quicker. So any of my apologies if the mallets are a little slow to get there. We will get you your stuff. We 100% promise that. Beyond that, the cat, part of the podcast since the very beginning, she's had like a cold essentially for a long time, and we really didn't realize it. So I took her to the vet. They gave her meds, and now she's running around causing havoc and back to her old self, which is nice. We really didn't realize that it took that much of an impact on her, but yeah, she doesn't even care about the dog anymore. She's just kind of like, dog will be on my lap curled up, and she'll just jump up and like lay down. So it's a nice change having both around. But yeah, so been busy and doing some stuff. I'm kind of getting a cold now, because when kids start getting sick, the first thing they do is jump in your lap, they turn and they cough in your face, and you're like, oh, okay, that's
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, cover your mouth next time. I'll get sick in the next couple of days.
Yeah. Well, school's almost out, so I mean, at least that school will cease to be a problem for a few months.
School's been out here.
Oh.
It's been out for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, this is our kids last week, so.
Yeah, they get out early, but they also start in August. Like the beginning of August is when they start.
Early, end early. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because when we moved here, literally within like 3-4 days, he was at school.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. He had a short summer last year. He'll have a full summer this year. But, yeah, they definitely get out pretty early here. It's kind of weird. Not used to it still, because, everyone I know, their kids are still in school wrapping it up.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I said, our kids last week is this week. So normally I have Fridays off. So now I'm going to have to get used to having Friday off with people in the house. I don't know how I feel about that yet. So
you got spoiled.
I know, I really did. But I think I'll adjust just fine. There's just more excuses to get him down in the shop, get him doing something other than a screen. Dad, I'm bored. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to sand.
Letting that imagination just soar, right? So, talking about imagination, the kids sat down on my chair and they had the headphones on and they were doing a podcast. My youngest has been doing a podcast once in a while by herself, and it's a silent podcast. Very interesting.
Those are my favorite comments.
I would say tune in, but it's pretty quiet. But my son actually wrote a script for this podcast that I wanted to share with everybody because I said I would. I think it's cute as hell. And it starts off with Saw Decision Podcast. Let's see. With Anna and Noah, we're talking about wood today. Mr. Knapp, what type of wood do you have? Insert Mr. Knapp's comment. Mm-hmm. Oh, that sounds nice. What do you build with all that wood? A shadow box would be shadow box. Wow, that's cool. Who do you sell it to? Me? What in the world? How much does it cost? $20? $20? Well, I'm buying it, baby. See you next time, Sawdust Nation podcast out. And you do a shout out box. And then he has a little blurb says, "Boys and girls, next episode on YouTube."
I love that. I'm buying it, baby. That's the
This is
that's the
his
title
artwork.
of this episode. Is I'm buying it, baby.
That
is perfect.
it's kind of cool. I mean, the podcast has been part of Anna's life, an entire childhood, being 3, and then Noah. I mean, since he could remember, you know what I'm saying, it's been a part of the podcast. Podcast nights are such a incredibly impact on our life here in our house, where it's like, oh, it's podcast night. We know what that means. You know, we got to get to bed. We got to, make sure the house is somewhat decently quiet. And, if you've been listening long enough, we're all parents. Everyone here is a parent. We've had our kids, yelling in the background once in a while. Sometimes, they come see us. But, family is truly a part of this podcast, not just on the community side, but our personal sides. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool to share that. He spent some time on this.
That's really cool.
He is going to be in 3rd grade.
Okay.
And, so he's doing pretty well when it comes to
So he's only a year behind the twins then, because they just finished 3rd grade. Okay.
Yeah, he just finished 2nd grade and going to 3rd grade. But I do want to brag a little bit about him. He's doing extremely well in math and science. In English too.
Solid STEM kid. Okay.
Yeah, honestly, his math skills are at least 2 grades above where he's actually in. So it's pretty impressive how well he's doing. And I can't wait to see when Anna goes to school how well she's going to do too, because I'm pretty sure she's going to rock it.
Nice.
But I had to brag on my kids a little bit because they've been truly impressive this last year.
Well, that's cool, man. They take after their old man. You got this. Hey, Ed's got a great idea. You can 3D print them some headsets so they can host their own podcast.
Well, my son has his own set of. I had old Skull Candy.
Okay.
And he uses those.
Nice.
And then you'd be surprised. They are very careful with the setup here. They had the Yeti mic. She had mine on. She put them on. She's like, "Ooh, that's nice." And they were sitting here going back and forth. It was just, it was kind of cool, watching them do that. So
watching them take after dad.
Yeah, proud dad moment. Proud dad moment. But that's kind of what's going on. Been busy this last week. In the workplace, at least, I had to hold a council that goes twice a year. It's the first one I've been a part of. First one I ran. So first time I've ever seen it, I ran it. It went incredibly well. Everything kind of happened as it should when it should. So I was pretty proud of that. And that was a big hurdle I need to get over. And then there's a couple of things I was able to knock out. So I basically took the week to, get things knocked out and get that done. All eyes on that. So it was okay. I got some rest, I got to go fishing. I got to do some fun stuff, but I will be back in the shop. This is definitely a work week. I'm getting back in the swing of things, and some products I'll be knocking out too. Excuse me. But yeah, it's always when you're ready to get back in the shop, it seems like you get a cold or you get something that kind of kick your butt. You know how that
you got to let that be your motivation. I can beat this. I can conquer this. Let's do this.
You got to be careful because breathing is a number one priority as well. So it's just one of those things.
Just got to clean out your mask. They make more filters every day. Come on.
Just throw it away after this.
Just throw it away. Give it all away. Just real quick.
Do a giveaway. My whole mask.
Ben is looking for a shout out to Crafton in New Jersey. AJ apparently helped him with a project.
Yep.
Touching on the solid community that we are, which I'm still proud to be a part of. I might not be as active as I used to be in the community, so to speak, but I'm always here. A couple of folks like JR reached out to me for some advice. He was kind of doing a spoil board type thing, and I said, "Hey, this is what I would do." So it's kind of cool. Every once in a while, people actually do reach out to me, and I can actually help somebody, and that's pretty cool. Kind of helps reinforce the whole community, right, Kitty?
She's chirping in the background. I think she sees some birds. But yeah, it's pretty nice. You know, it's nice being back in the shop. It's nice seeing you get done with, or getting close to being done with your CC project you talked about. Kind of dialing in your projects. I'm kind of dialing in mine. Nap, I know he was extremely busy before he left, and he'll have plenty to share when he gets back. Knocking out projects, make sure he was good for this trip that he's on. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Is it time to try to start taking down names and give some stuff away?
Looks like we got 10 watching right now. I see Isaiah,
Okay,
I see Ed, I see Ben, Anita Wynn, Matt, Whacker, something. I don't know. Wackadoodle. Mr. Sam Council. Any thoughts on a different?
If you were still here listening, please chime in so we can go ahead and make sure we get you.
So I've never done the LLC yet. Apparently, everybody that I talk to that has an LLC says that it's absolutely worth it because it's a solid motivation. So I don't know. Like Josh, you said you're LLC, correct?
Yeah, I'm all LLC'd.
I know Nap is. What I'm curious about is how much does something like that cost? Like, is it a huge upfront cost?
It depends what state you're in.
Oh, okay.
So it depends entirely what state and the taxes and how that your state runs it. I did mine in Jersey and it wasn't too bad, but it was a lot cheaper than when Nick and Nap set theirs up in Texas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll look into that. The other thing I want to look into as well is trademark registration. Like, how much is it to get your logo trademarked? And so currently at the job that I at my job, we recently hired temporarily a patent attorney because we are about ready to launch 2 very large product groups, and there's a lot of information to capture. So I asked the guy, like, look, I mean, you're a patent attorney. Can you kind of help me out with this logo thing that I want to do? He says, well, I can refer you to somebody, but I can't do that because he's a patent attorney. I mean, maybe he could do it, but he doesn't know much about it. So
yeah,
he said, if you just Google trademark attorney, insert your city here, you'll probably find somebody that can trademark your logo. So if that is something that anyone else has done, I'd be absolutely curious to hear your take on it and take like what your experience was, because I would love to patent, Hold Chester, the raccoon logo that I got. Not patent, but trademark it. So
we tried trademarking the podcast. I think it was $250 if I remember right, and we got all the way up to, but it was denied because we had too much variation. And that's something that we're working.
Too much variation.
Kind of in like our logo and design. We try to do too much in one. You have to kind of be very clear cut in how you were going to do it. So it's one of those things where we learned kind of our lesson there. But yeah, we definitely tried to do that for a moment in time, and we'll probably get back to it. It's just, getting that done, and it takes a moment and it takes time, and you got to stay up on it. If you don't, it just drop off. So if you're going to do it, I suggest go ahead and knocking it out, but just keep in mind, it does cost, quite a bit of money. $200 is nothing to sneer at.
Right.
And you have to stay up on it.
$200 compared to the cost of a laser, right? I mean, it's relative.
Well, yeah. Okay, so I think we have everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. That way you guys can see what I have put in. If you don't see your name on there, make sure you holler. Yeah, I love the ads. Give me a second. I'm gonna shuffle this up too. And then I'll ask for more shuffle. How many times to shuffle it in a second? So basically, I put first name basis for everybody because, the list ain't all that long. We do have quite a few top tier patrons in there. So they do get a second
An extra slot
entry.
They can buy 2 vowels.
Not just one.
Not just one. More chances to fill cracks.
4 plus 2.
If I add that up, it looks like 42.
I believe 4 plus 2 is 6.
No, 42. 4 plus 2. Come on.
42 is just the answer to the universe,
life,
isn't that?
Universe and everything.
Okay, so last time to chime in and let me know you're here. I'll give you one more minute. Yeah, you guys are on the same wavelength. It's just,
he's my guy.
Cut it out.
I knew I like that that Matt guy. So
okay, so first thing we're going to give away, or the only thing we're giving away today, is the Starbond package. You either get the clear package or you get the brown and black package. You just let us know what you prefer, and we'll send that to you. It does come with an accelerator, so you get everything to start off. You get nozzles, the whole shebang. It looks like no one else is chiming in. Okay, so that let's get a number. Let's see how many times we got to shuffle this bad boy.
Any number between 1 and 15.
I'm not doing 42.
Not doing it 42 times. Okay, fine. You're a coward, but no, whatever. 7.
7.
Anita Wynn needs 7.
Okay, you guys ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I do have spin agains in there. That way it gives a little bit more interest, but here we go.
Yo, DJ,
who's gonna win?
Spin that wheel. I just aged myself.
Oh, spin again. Welcome. You're welcome. Spin again wins.
Ubiquitous applause.
Okay, so let's go ahead and choose another number.
Matt, I know darn well how to spell your name or how to pronounce your name. Anita Wynn says
Anita
4.
with a 4. 1, 2, 3.
Sam Spinnigan Council. That's another win again.
Okay,
I'm gonna quit.
Oh, no way. Oh. Okay. At least this is interesting versus, let's see, 13. We'll go 13.
Jesus.
1,
Thanks,
2,
Scott.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, one more time. You can see.
Would it be inappropriate to ask for, like, hey, Ed?
Ed wins.
Very nice.
Congratulations, okay, Ed. I believe we have your address. We'll go ahead and send that to you. Just let us know what version you have the package you want. And you can start gluing stuff together. Just make sure you don't glue the wrong stuff together.
Please don't show us any videos of you filling cracks.
As long as it's wood cracks.
As long as it's wood cracks.
You crack me up.
Hey-o. Drink your white
Dad
claw.
Jokes for days here. That's what we got.
That's how we do.
But yeah, so interesting last week. It sounds like for the both of us. this upcoming week, do you got anything big planned? I know we talked about like when your CNC is going to be basically done and you have some future projects, but is there something in the next couple of months you're going to try to knock out or something exciting you want to share with us?
Yeah, buying lumber for the kids, or I should say for the girls' room, because we are building loft beds for the two of them. It's going to be very tight quarters because end to end, an American twin mattress is 75 inches. Well, their room is 151 and a half inches long. So you do the math. It's going to be real interesting. But hey, man, I got SolidWorks, and of course, naturally, I laid it all out. So I know it'll fit.
There are engineers among you that we don't even know. My neighbor, he's a cop in the Air Force, and he has applied physics degree.
Nice.
And I'm like, why are you a cop? Because I don't know, because I wanted to do a cop. I'm like, okay, fair enough. But like we were talking about, he's in the CAD too. So I might have someone right next door. He's into Warhammer.
Oh, perfect.
There might be some trades in the future of like, hey, I need this designed. I'll print you a Warhammer guy.
Yeah, perfect.
So
that's cool, man.
Small world, obviously, so relying on Tim too and other people, but I'm curious to see what he can do. I need a bigger 3D printer because every time I look at the 3D printer, I just want to press something bigger, bigger, bigger.
What's the envelope in yours?
Not much. Not much at all. I think it's 7 inches tall by this.
10 by 10 by 7, it looks like. Okay. That's not bad. I mean, like the bamboo is 10 by 10 by 10.
No. It's about 7 by 7 by 7.
Got it. So if you really want to go big, I know Prusa XL, they have that 14 by 14 by 14 or something like that. Ask Victor. He knows all about the Prusas.
No new equipment for a while for me. I'm trying to rein it in when it comes to all that expenses and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, outside of like building the loft bed, like I want to get. So I a while ago I acquired a new jointer. Well, by new I mean new to me. This thing is from the 40s. It's an old Delta Milwaukee. It runs. I mean, it turns, but like I haven't really pushed any wood through it yet. Like really tried to like put it through its paces. So I'm looking forward to really seeing what that guy can do, because I've never had a jointer before. I've always had to kind of fake it with the table saw. Hey, table saw jointer works.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like a planer. I mean, there's other things that work just as well as a planer, just take longer. I'm not going to mention any names or how I do that, but.
Oh, hey, Anita's going to enable you. She's saying Bamboo is having a sale starting tomorrow.
Well, if it's not free 99, then I'm going to have to pass it up. So Nap and I were talking about this earlier. So we've literally been like, I keep saying this like we're old or something, but like we've been around long enough where we've seen different trends and CNC machines and lasers. And even when it comes to 3D printers, someone comes out with some new machine or product, and it's just really good. Everyone jumps on it, and it kind of dies down after a minute, and then something else pop up. And it happens everywhere. It's part of our economy. But like, I've removed myself from wanting the biggest, baddest thing out there at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am very happy with my laser. Like, I honestly can't imagine having anything bigger. It makes no sense. And even the CNC, it works. I just need to do a little more manipulation sometimes when it comes to doing stuff. And I'll be getting it so that it's dialed in, or at least if I can get the 3D carving to work properly or figure that out, I'll be happy with it for a while.
I thought you did 3D carving. I thought Ben gave you the 411 on the whole 3D carving.
I have done some, but I have to be misses steps if I go too fast.
Okay.
So I have to do extremely slow 3D carving.
Oh.
And I don't have the patience for it, so I usually end up messing it up.
Is that a software thing or a machine thing?
It's a machine thing. I think my Z-axis is too heavy for the stepper motor, and then I have to upgrade the stepper motor, which means I have to go and kind of reduce some stuff, and we're just gonna go slow. And go with that.
Or get a new CNC. But hey, that's a different problem for a different day.
Anita, you're really not helping me here.
$3.99 for the A1. That seriously, Bamboo makes some really good stuff. We are not we are not sponsored by Bamboo. I just want to say that, but like I've been really,
if
really,
Bamboo wants to sponsor this podcast, there are definitely people that are willing.
We are
to
not
take
saying no. Like I have been using the absolute crap out of our Bamboo at work, and like I absolutely love it. I mean,
3D print's fun.
It really is. It's funny because I haven't really touched our Form Labs, our SLA in a while. Because the Bamboo has just been more stable. So like the SLA printer is really good at getting detail, but like it warps after time. Like I said, it just warps. So like I can't really rely on it for engineering purposes, not anymore. So, but on the flip side of it, I can't get all the accuracy I need from the Bamboo. I mean, it gets pretty darn close, but it's not as accurate as the SLA. So there's always a trade-off. But I mean,
speed. Yeah.
If I had the money in my pocket right now, I'd absolutely get Bamboo X1 Carbon. I'm sold.
Since I am kind of migrating to a different business style, I have to be careful about my spending when it comes to all that, because before I would get projects and then people pay me and I use what they pay me as getting that supplies, what have you. Now I am getting and making things before payment. So I have to kind of readjust how I do things. So depending on how that progresses, I might, be able to buy some new equipment down the road. But as of right now, it's kind of like I'm a hoarder trying to figure out a new process that I haven't really dealt with on a large scale.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that comes with a lot of different changes. Like I have to update my Etsy, my website, pretty much all of my different stuff. But again, I think in the end, it's going to give me time back, and time is money. And I want that for my kids and just for me as well. So I think it's going to be worth it. I mean, like even the time that I spent out of the shop and doing other stuff, I got this gem, you know what I'm saying?
That's
so like,
cool.
It's one of those things where I can already see the benefits. So,
yeah, my daughter painted that back there a while ago, and also a little raccoon chasing the fire. Like I'm so stinking proud of that. Like I can't ever let go of that.
There's always going to be things. I have a piece of 2x4 when Noah was little in the shop coloring or something, and he said, "Love Dad" or something. And I literally finished that 2x4.
Nice.
And it's in the shop. I'll never part with that. That made it through a move and everything.
Those are artifacts, Josh. Those are the things that I hang on to forever. Like they could put a nail in a 2x4 and write "Love Dad" on it with a Sharpie, and that keep that forever.
There's
because I'm romantic like that.
Well, I mean, like stuff like that matters. My first patch wall or plaque that I did for myself, I actually took a piece of scrap that my nephew painted the back of. So I turned it into a project that I can hang, and I kept it so when I turn it around, I have that painting still. So no matter what, I have dual use for it, and it's something that I could be like, hey, you remember this when he's 20 years old? And he'll be like, no. And I could be like, well, I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a little stuff. I 100% agree. That little stuff does matter.
Well, it looks like Ed is taking after someone else. Bought one for the new shop, but until it's built, it's sitting in the box. And if that thing's still in the box a year from now, we're going to have words.
Well, to be fair, I can understand why he's doing it. It seems, that makes sense. There are a few people that we know. AJ is one of them that like keeping things in the box and not utilizing it. But talking about things in a box, everyone likes things in a box. Everyone likes gifts. People like giveaways. That's why, some of you guys are here tonight. Who wants to know what we're giving away in July? Anyone?
An air conditioner?
We did that once.
A fan with a mister? I'd settle for a $16 box fan.
It'd be a fan with someone in the background squirting at some random person. Well, slow down. Not everyone ask at the same time. My God. So we're going to be giving away a Festool product in July. We did something similar last year. And yeah, that's what we did. See, Matt won the fan thing. So we did something similar last year, and it went over very well. It changed the flow in someone's shop. So if I've told everyone basically what we're giving away for the year, but I'm gonna leave this one hanging. It's going to be a Festool product, and it's going to be how much is it worth? It's worth up around $300, I think. So
$300. That's so if it's Festool and it's only $300, that must be like just like the case with like nothing in it.
It's actually a sticker. Why we have to go ahead and give that away?
I figured their cases were like $300. I don't know. I'm not.
No, it's it is something we've given away before, and I thought it was worth giving away again. Unfortunately, can't give away some of the really high price sanders because then we won't be able to give away anything the next month. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. So you guys will have to stay tuned for the next giveaway. The date, I think we're going to have to adjust all around a little bit because it's the 2nd of July.
Oh,
and yeah. I know I personally be traveling. So stand by. We might be doing a later giveaway in the month and not the first Tuesday. But we'll let you know. It's not going to be a surprise. Basically, what's going to happen is we're going to end this recording. Tim and I are going to talk about it. I'm going to text Nap, and we're all going to be like, and then I'll go ahead and change things up, and we'll post something. So
I may just, if it's good enough, I might just quit being a host just so I could possibly win this thing. I don't know. We'll see.
See, you can't win anything for a year after being a host.
Oh, that wasn't in the paperwork, Josh.
There was a fine contract that looked like a border. You ever see the Santa Claus where the border is the actual contract?
Yeah, that was that. Okay.
Yeah, we got you.
Fair enough.
It's the sawdust clause.
Yeah. So just as a reminder, like it might not be July 2nd, folks. It might be July 9th. So just keep that in the back of your mind.
Well, yeah, we'll let you know. We'll be on the Linktree, the Patreons. We'll have the link in the actual Patreon. And we'll do at least 2 posts about it. Any other news? I can't think of anything else other than the next giveaway.
Don't forget to buy your tickets for Maker Camp.
Yes, don't forget about Maker Camp. I have not bought my ticket, but I will definitely be going. No doubt about it. I've already planned it through work. And I'm already starting to work it so that I have a setup for my truck where I can just camp from a truck, essentially.
Nice. So it is, if anyone is wondering, it is the weekend of October 11th, 12th, 13th. I'll be there. Well, my wife and I will be there by Wednesday, the 9th, probably leaving early on Monday, the 14th. We're going to make a vacation out of it.
Yeah, we're going to go down for the weekend of Maker Camp, and then I say we, Nap and I, and then if Nap can get the time off, I'll be going a little bit further north and going to my camp and doing some hunting for a week. So,
yes, Matt will be living in a cardboard box.
Oh, we got to figure out the episode. Are we going to do a live episode there? Do they have internet?
Really sketchy internet. So we could record there and then post as soon as we get back to civilization. If you have,
that might be fun.
If you have that capability.
Yeah, we should. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, that's October. I'm glad we thought about it now. Mm-hmm. We'll come up with some plan. If we even record ahead for that week, and then Nap and I can figure out a way to record in New York. So anyway, things we need to figure out, things you don't need to hear right now on this podcast.
Stuff to look forward to.
Yeah. Woo! Anyway, thank you guys for all joining us. We had a blast for everyone in the chat. If you had fun and you're not a Patreon in the third tier, please sign up. It allows us to give off cool giveaways like this. And then don't forget Christmas, we give something to our Patreons as well. And that's how we do this. Without our Patreons, they literally are the backbone and our sponsors. So,
if you think we're worth something, recommend us to a friend. Wherever you listen to podcasts, if you can rate it, if you think we're worth 1 star, tell us why. If you think we're 5 stars, tell us why. Either way, give us a message.
You're all 5 stars to me. Anyway, with that, thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this podcast and our community. Tim, do you have anything? Final words?
Like I say all the time, don't be afraid to learn something. If you already know everything, you won't learn anything.
Amen. And with that, go make some sawdust. Sawdust Nation podcast out.
Out. Almost got it.
Out.
Almost got it.
Out.
It. Podcast it.
Okay. Now I gotta figure out how to turn this thing off. It's a joke that I say almost every time.
Okay, well.